My name is Moses Kasakya, currently the Executive Director of TVET Council. At TVET Council, I offer strategic leadership in regulating and promoting TVET skilling system in Uganda. Prior to that, I've been involved in assurance services, where I headed the internal audit function of the Road Construction Agency of Uganda, and also was in charge of compliance and integrity of the electricity distribution company, Umeme Limited. And prior to that, I worked for quite a long time in different areas, where actually I grew my career much more in the Uganda Revenue Authority. Started as a revenue officer and left as a compliance manager. I also had the privilege to offer leadership at the Institute of Internal Auditors as the president. I handed over, now I'm a board member, just offering consultants and advisory services for the next 2 years. I think the most inciting or significant thing, in my opinion, was when we recognized that the stakeholders believe internal auditors have a little more to do. They haven't yet been there. And throughout the panelists, it came out that there is a problem of confidence building. And it was the emphasis that there should be courage. One of them referred to as diplomatic courage. In other words, be very courageous with giving the candid information, but in a respectful way. One, I could point to two things. One is the regulatory establishment of internal audit services. In 2015, the Public Finance Management Act was enacted, and it actually established internal auditing in public sector, giving it authority to records, to people, to everything necessary for internal audit to function, and establishing a whole framework from recruitment of staff up to audit committees and continuous periodical requirement for planning and reporting of internal audit services. I think that one has been key. But the other one has been the president. The president appreciates the role of internal audit, or the role of assurance services in governance. And he actually has been a pillar in supporting that area. And that, of course, comes with supporting internal auditors in their training. There is always a budget in the Ministry of Finance to, among other people, develop competencies of internal auditors. I think those have been the driving factors. One, the framework is there, like the AFIA, which is the Continental Institute. It has a framework for collaboration among the different national AFIA internal audit institutes. The challenge is implementation, like you said. So that now comes to commitment of putting in practice that which has been put on paper. And every year, every affiliate actually holds a national conference. I used to sit much earlier when I was a young internal auditor, where members would come from another affiliate to another one. Of recent, it has gone down. Of course, you will say, you are also a president, what happened? And I will frankly tell you, I tried to raise colleagues from the nearby countries to come, and then there was the concern of the cost. So I think one of the things we need to work upon is the cost. In my opinion, it's because then you have to bring over those people, you have to keep them around. It's one area that we need to work on. But like I said earlier, cost is second. The first is commitment. Because actually these affiliations raise money. Or even the other side, out of collaboration spirit, somebody might be willing to sponsor themselves. So cost is second, but the very first one is commitment. And it awakens me now that I'm still a board member giving advisory for the next 2 years. I'm going to raise it with my team and raise it with the current president to be able to share this amongst her other colleagues, such that we strengthen this collaboration. One, there is something personal I would call legitimizing illegal things. Talk about procurement, for example. Of course, there is a legal process you follow, but anybody can tell that whereas they followed the legal process, but there was fraud within the legal process itself. And the ability for internal auditors to bring out those things, I think it's something which is still lacking. And if you could have heard, yesterday I was emphasizing culture, integrity in particular. Paperwork, if you simply say, I'm using procurement as an example, you have to advertise, they advertised. You have to evaluate bids, they evaluated. You have to take them through the Solicitor General, they did. But inside the whole process, there is fraud. Now, for internal auditors to break that, I think it is still lacking. Things which I worked on within the legal mechanism, and yet fraud is inside. I'll just end with one. You know, sometimes we are careful to speak things which are not public, but this is public. During COVID, Uganda wanted a particular equipment, and we all knew its price. But going through the procurement process, it was costing 3 times the actual price. And even the president himself was like, why do we then waste time going through this process, which actually doesn't help? Now, for internal auditors to say, whereas you went through the process, but there was fraud, I think some of those elements are still missing. It's difficult, but we go back to that statement I gave. And I think it's also within our new standards, the global internal audit standards, that we must be courageous and say what is right. What we have to learn is how best do we do that. And there are many other things. It may not only be through the report, a written report. It could also be identifying willing, cooperating public leaders and sharing it with them and asking them to use their positions to create a change. If the worst comes to the worst, truth be told, we can do what the Chief Internal Auditor of Enron did, blow the whistle. I think there are still things we can do to cause some changes. I think everybody is crying costs, but there are solutions to that. Embed technology in there. I think it will bring down the cost. Major, I think that is it. If you use technology properly, you reduce on the numbers, you reduce on the movements, you even create efficiency. So I think technology, embracing technology, is what I would say to somebody who wants to cut me.